Hey everyone, welcome to That Pedal Show, viewers, comments and questions. Dan here.
Mick here, hello.
That was a very strange experience.
Dan playing there on the screen. I'm going to turn that off. Hello everyone, happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you. Happy Monday to you. Happy Monday.
Hope you all had a glorious weekend. We've had weather in the UK. There's been snowstorms and all that sort of stuff.
Is there? Where's there been snow?
In the US of and A.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant here. There's quite a lot of snow all around the world all the time.
Is there?
Yeah. Yeah, here we've had an abundance of rain. A wonderful abundance of precipitation.
Yeah, because we don't get enough in the UK.
No, it's good. Love it.
We interviewed Bill Frisell yesterday, and he came in and he goes, "Does it rain here all the time?"
It's what every American says when they get off some sort of plane. Unless they're from Seattle, in which case they go, "Oh, I'm home." And Bill is from Seattle, which is kind of odd.
Oh,
well, he lives in Seattle. Anyway, welcome everyone. Welcome to this fine Monday. Viewer comments and questions. Thank you, BV, for being in the chat.
Yes, thanks, BV.
Catherine's coming in, perhaps with some housekeeping.
Oh,
I see. It is the dog. Hello, dog.
Hello, doggo.
Ah, table dog. And what's going on here then, Rosie? Are you all right? You want to say hello to the people? You want to say hello to the people? You got to look that way. The camera's over there. Look. So, all right. I'll go and see Dan then.
Come on then. Come on.
I'll go and see that. She's going to struggle with that.
Come on, you. There we go.
The old back feet will slip on the table.
There we go.
Right.
Hey, princess.
Thank you, BV, and hello to everyone who's joining us this week. We say hello to SWiz871. Johnny T5E3 is on. Hi, Johnny.
Hey, Johnny.
PG Nash. John Schwartz 67.
See, your Schwartz is as big as mine.
Sebastel 23 or Sebastol. S Guvia 95. Some lovely new names this week.
Nice. How nice.
Serial Frost is on. Hey, Serial Frost, how are you? Oh yeah, no, you better not make any noise. Dave Sandman.
Yeah.
You know who we met on Friday?
Who did we meet on Friday?
Think I better leave right now.
Yes, Will Young.
Will Young, who is often in the comments, and we always sing that when Will makes a comment. Well, William Young came to an experience day, and it was nice to meet you, Will.
It was really great, Will.
Thank you for coming. And Giorgio is on. Giorgio also came to an experience day. How are you, buddy? Captain Sexy 90 is on, and we know you are. I think the captain's coming to see us, actually.
Is he?
On an experience day, yeah. It's like a very close family tonight.
Oh, how lovely.
Awesome. Tommy, whose name is, all I've got on my screen is Tommy Crap. But there's more, because there's a ... Thank you, Tommy, with your extremely kind super chat. We'll get to it in a minute. Michael Schneider. Scott Curry. It's Tommy Crapweiss. That's awesome, Tommy. That's just awesome. Todd Roy, Martin Vin Green, J Biz. Loads and loads of lovely friends. Jason Sears, how are you, Jason?
Hey, Jason. Great to see you. Smoked Guitar Works. Mr. Guitar Dad. Sabadius, Todd Roy Music, Victor Gustafsson, and Krasinski. Good evening.
Marcus Reeves is on. Hey, Marcus.
Hey, buddy.
I need to get back to you. And he says, are we playing at Birmingham Guitar Show this year? Possibly. Now, I have to admit to a bit of a brain fart, because I thought it was this weekend. So I'm like, we can't do it. We're doing Bill Frisell.
Right.
But it's in a month. So we may still be able to do the Birmingham Guitar Show. Jason, I will phone you.
Okay.
Although we do have other things happening. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. Good. And Ryan Gunwich Black is on. And Braden Bueller is on. And Chris Turner is on. And Moon is on. And Zootalers is on. And G-Barge is on.
G-Barge, hey bud.
G-Barge is saying, I need a proper nom de plume. I think you should call yourself Norm de Plume.
Norm de Plume.
What was that from? It was from something. It was from something.
10 seconds ago.
No,
That's
it
right.
was a TV show.
Norm
I
de
think.
Plume?
Norm de Plume, yeah. Good. And Braden Rodriguez says, love you guys. We love you too,
Oh,
Braden.
bless you, mate.
There's a lot of love in the TPS family.
Love in this room.
And we're very grateful for it. Okay, let us stampede to the super
present?
chats and see what's going on out there. We must just reflect on what happened yesterday. Now you need to play, hold the note. Now reverse it with a DL4. That's our Bill Frisell impression. Yesterday we had the unbelievable privilege of interviewing Bill before his gig. He did a gig here. There's a really lovely small concert venue called the Wiltshire Music Centre, which I have to be admitting that I didn't actually know existed until about 6 months ago. And it's a beautiful little concert hall, and Bill played there with his trio. And Dan and I got to interview him before, and we set the TPS thing up on stage, and he used that deluxe reverb. Yes, he did. The one behind Dan.
Yes, he did.
And I've got his settings, and I'll post them, which you won't believe. And then we witnessed the gig, and oh my God, to anyone who was there, we don't need to tell you, it's just a tour de force of improvisational musicianship mastery.
Yep. I think just so free. And it was so beautiful. The way the trio gig with Bill with a drummer and bass player, and he started and then it felt like 10 minutes and it was 90 minutes later.
Yeah.
And then they went off and they came back for an encore. And it was amazing. I honestly felt like I was tripping out for some of it. It was just transportive.
It was unbelievable. It really. We'll talk about this more maybe if any questions come in, or it will become a recurring theme. Absolutely, turned a lot of things I hold very dear about playing the guitar on its head.
Yeah.
And going, okay, yeah, all right, time to rethink some of this stuff. I don't mean try and play like Bill Frisell. I mean, I learned a lot last night watching him.
Oh yeah.
In a big way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just incredible. Anyway, Bill is awesome, says Zoot Allure 1976. Yeah, he really is. And what a wonderful, wonderful human being.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. Anyway, so we can keep going on about that, but that'll be a couple of weeks for the Bill episode.
Should we tell the people what's going on tomorrow?
Oh yeah, and tomorrow we are. What did I say before? Honoured again to have Steve Rothery coming back. And he's going to bring his 2290s, TC 2290s, like a real old one, a pedal one, and some other stuff. And we're going to get into the 2290 with Steve because he really knows it.
Yep, he sure does.
Yeah. Jim Brosen said, never heard of him. No, a lot of people haven't. Either Steve Rothery or
Bill Frisell.
Bill Frisell. Google him.
Steve Rothery is the guitar player from Marillion. And yeah, it's really beautiful and has developed this really unique, melodic, sustaining, beautiful thing. Yeah, wonderful guitar player. And Bill Frisell is Bill Frisell, completely his own thing, just magical.
Okie dokie. Super chat, eye up, landlord. I'll just make sure that we're okay. Yeah, I'll tell you what. We'll keep them open for a couple of minutes, maybe, but maybe we can have some extended answers. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to turn them off now, and then we can answer some other questions as well.
Okay.
That's nice, isn't it?
Someone said Dan does look a bit like Pete Martell from Twin Peaks. Okay. I don't know who Pete Martell is. Oh, that water went down the wrong way.
Oh yeah, cough off mic, my friend.
Sorry, dude.
You won't like it, so I'm not going to show you.
Oh, no, show me.
It's bad.
I don't mind. It could be worse.
Yeah.
Don't know how,
Um,
but I'm sure it could be.
okay, super chat. I up landlord. First in this week is Johnny T. Hey Johnny.
Johnny T, you and me.
And thank you for your continued questions, Johnny. Johnny says, I have a V40 amp,
Yeah, you
which
do.
presumably is a Victory V40. He says, should I put a high gain 12AX7 in V1 or use pedals? Got it?
Sure do. High gain. The V40 is a really great amp for many reasons. It does take pedals extremely well, but it depends what you're going for. If what you're after is amp gain, and there's nothing quite like it, but it does come with limitations, right? However, I will say Martin Kidd knows how to design amp gain.
Yeah, but it's not really. I mean, the V40 is designed with vintage overdrive in mind.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
bit of Fender breakup into like 60s. It'll do a bit of 60s Marshall crunch. I would use a clean boost because that'll give you a kind of a similar result.
And then
it'll just push the tube harder.
Exactly. And then you're not locked in
Yeah.
to that thing.
Check out the Thorpe Heavy Water, which we filmed a show before coming on air tonight. With 2 deluxe reverbs we now have. One is the 64 hand wired, one is the 65, the one that we use all the time, the straight. And we've compared them. And one of the pedals we used to compare them was the Thorpe Heavy Water. And every time I turn that thing on, I'm like, yeah, this is it.
That's it.
This is it. Oh, Rosie, are you okay? Yeah, you're all right, aren't you?
She just want to cuddle.
She's been quite affectionate.
Yeah. So we had a lovely
late.
cuddle before when I was over in the other room. And she just came and hung out.
Bless her.
Yeah.
Bless you, Rosie. So yeah, that's what we do, Johnny. PG Nash says, I love Uncle Larry and his channel.
Mm-hmm.
So do I.
Mm-hmm.
So does Dan. But the comments of a group of envious guys there make me sick. Why is there still so much hate online? Here's to TPS and to keeping the guitar beautiful no matter where we are on our journey. Please take one from the chat. Well, actually, I'll answer this. I could talk about this for days because Dan and I have been through the mill. Oh, podcast.
Good girl. Yeah. As soon as we see any of that stuff, we're just no thanks. We're just not about that. This doesn't.
Yeah. Hello to our Patreon podcast listeners. A little bit late starting this week. You haven't missed much. Other than we did Bill Frisell yesterday, and that'll be coming up in 2 weeks or thereabouts. Hello, Rose. And we now have 2 deluxe reverbs, so everything is good.
Everything's amazing.
The question we've just had is from PG Nash, who wants to know why there's so much hate online. I could talk about it for months, but I'm not going to. It just is.
It just is.
And the problem is always with the hater. It's never with the person being hated.
Yeah.
And as you say, you use the word jealous, and it is largely that. It's, people need their opinions validated. They need to be right. It's total ego. It's 100% ego. It's identification with thought and form. It's living in psychological time and not in the moment. And anyone who has any sort of conscious presence whatsoever would never, ever, ever, ever say anything nasty online. And Dan and I have gone through the mill of taking it very personally to begin with, and still sometimes you can take it a bit personally. But actually what I feel for those people now is pity. Because how much sadness do you have in your life to say something horrible online?
Yeah.
In a place where someone is doing something in good faith.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's sad for whatever bullshit they've got going on in their life that makes them that sad. I just feel sad.
Yeah.
And I
get
feel
it.
sad that there's so many people out there.
Yeah.
They are, however, a very, very vocal and annoying tiny minority.
Yeah. But just, we won't allow that nonsense, because this has become like the comment section when we do our live stream, and the wonderful conversations that you have, and everyone's so encouraging and supportive, and that's what we want to do, and that's what TPS is about. It is community. It's about seeing the art of the possible within the music and with sounds and stuff like that, and we're here for each other. And as soon as that nonsense is like, no, so we guard it fiercely, and just not gonna happen here. And I understand why some people are like, kill them with kindness, but
we tried that.
yeah, and it just doesn't work. Hey,
Yeah.
you, hey.
No barking, please, Rosie. One thing that we did resolve to do, even though we've just spent 5 minutes talking about it.
Rosie.
One thing we did resolve to do. Oh, Rose, no, you can't bark.
Darling. Rosie. Hey. What you doing?
One of the things we did resolve to do was to try not to spend any time on it, and instead give our attention to the people who do want to be here and say nice things. And our attention's got to be to those of you who want to be here, not to the idiots who don't. So we'll leave it there. Thanks for the question, and thank you for your incredible generosity with the super chats. I'm getting logged out again. Yeah. Well, actually, one last thing, just while I log back in. I come from a world of print journalism. And in print journalism, if you said something defamatory or libelous in print, and you didn't have a source for it, and it wasn't journalistic opinion, you would be sued, right? And there was no forum really for anyone to say anything hateful, because someone had to sub-edit it and print it. But if I wrote something that was factually incorrect, or accused someone of something, or was libelous or defamatory, I would be sued. And it's a great shame that doesn't really exist online, I think, because there's so much crap that gets talked. As I said, we shall move on. Next in is Joshua Schwartz. Hey Joshua, thank you for your question. Joshua says, hey DNM, I love my Belly Poke Deluxe, but it's finicky and crackly depending on where it is in the chain. Any tips for what to put before or after a pedal with it? Because Joshua is saying, I think the issue might be high output impedance. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. So Catlin Bread Belly Epoch Deluxe, if anyone knows what the input and output impedances are, please put them in the chat. It is affected greatly by stuff before it and after. Now, those of you who've got a Belly Epoch Deluxe, I'm trying to say Epoch, we say Epoch. There's one there and there's another one somewhere. There you go. One of my favourite delay pedals. Because it's one of my favourite delay pedals, we've got two. So some of you will know that it has the option of having like an EP3 style pre always on. So i.e. non-true bypass, buffered bypass, so that when it's in line, you can use it just in line all the time, so that when you click it on and off, that preamp is always in the game. And I would advise you to try that, because part of the issue with this is that when you turn it on, and if you use it in true bypass mode and you then flick the preamp in, that does change everything quite considerably. So it will change your sound significantly when you turn it on with the echo sound. So if you leave the pre on, so that it's not true bypass, it is buffered bypass, but with that pre engaged, that mitigates some of that. The question is, this is a bit finicky.
Yes. In wet dry.
And is it no, that's a separate question.
Right.
It's a bit finicky because of the input and output impedances.
Yes.
I found certainly that if I run a fuzz before it, the fuzz just goes crazy then when you turn it
Yeah,
on.
depending on the fuzz. So it's always with fuzzes, a good sounding fuzz is so sensitive to impedances, input and output impedances, but mostly input impedances. But it can be like, I remember my first germanium fuzz, and I had my first Memory Man, and I had this amazing fuzz sound. I kicked on the Memory Man, and it was horrible. And I thought, oh, the Memory Man's broken. I was absolutely gutted. But the Memory Man was fine. It's because it changed the output impedance of the fuzz. So it won't be just that pedal, like anything, and most pedals that have a high input impedance and low output impedance will do the same thing. But lots of fuzzes, and I think lots of fuzz builders have gotten onto the fact that, okay, if they reduce the output impedance of a fuzz, because normally in a classic germanium fuzz face, it's back to front. Normally we have a high input impedance and a low output impedance. On a classic fuzz, it's a low input impedance and high output impedance. Now I think a lot of fuzz builders have gotten onto that, and they've kept the low input impedance thing because it's really important that the input of the fuzz reacts with the inductance of the coil of your pickup, and that relationship that happens when that connects to the fuzz. But if they keep the output impedance a bit lower, then it interacts better with pedals down the chain.
But it's not just fuzz. It's because, like I said, because of that EP3 style pre in it, that does have a significant effect on the buffering situation downstream.
Yeah.
So we get it. The other thing to watch in the Bell Epoch Deluxe is you've got two controls that really significantly affect the level of the delay. One is the record level, and the other is the delay level. So you've got separate levels for record and echo level. And if you run that record level high, what's essentially happening is you're pushing loads of input signal essentially to the tape. On an EP3, you could push the input to the tape and it would overdrive and saturate. And that obviously will accentuate any other kind of anything that's remotely sort of overdrivey and all that. It will accentuate all of that terribly. So run I find run the record level as low as you can to get the cleanest delay if that's what you want, and run the echo volume up a bit higher. But Scheisse Unada, I almost never have the record or echo volume any more than about 8 o'clock, because I'm usually hitting it so hard with overdrive pedals and all the rest of it. So if you are running them up around here, it is going to, at midday, it is going to sound squashy and glitchy and all that. So I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I always take it off for exactly the reason you're talking about. Now, one other way you can get around that is to use an expression pedal. And what's quite nice is that on the top panel there, you've got a little switch which enables you to change the expression pedal's function from delay time, I think, or echo level. Yeah. And what that means is you can just bring the echo back a bit in level if you're going to hit it harder. So all of those things will work. But it does sound fantastic. Yeah. It really does sound fantastic.
Yeah, it's a groovy thing.
And the other reason I stopped using it is because it flips the polarity of your signal. Even in various buffered and non-buffered modes. Yeah. So if you're using it wet dry,
relationship between the input and the output, and then that's what that preamp does. It flips it, it turns it around. So if you have a split before that, it will be reflected, and therefore the amps will be relatively out of phase. It's funny that they've kept, I understand, because if you have a look at the way they design them and they use the same basic topology of the circuit, and then that's going to happen. You get all the foibles Always wanted a reason to say foibles. There it
Foibles
is.
Nice. Idiosyncrasies is the,
That's
is
very
the often
good.
one. Apparently we're freezing a bit. Apologies.
Ha! I can't keep that up.
What?
What is it?
Eric Johnson is playing at the Cheese and Grain.
When?
July.
Awesome.
Surely not.
Yeah.
That's got to be a tribute band, doesn't it?
Eric Johansson.
Eric Johnson is playing in Froome
Okay.
in July. No way.
All right.
Better
Right, get him on the show.
Get onto his management.
Come on.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. We stopped this program to bring you this news flash.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've only seen him live once. It was amazing.
Burkoy said YouTube just true bypassed the whole chunk of your response. That was probably all crap anyway.
Yep. There you go.
It will go out on the podcast if you're really interested. Hope you get it sorted, Joshua. Good luck. Sebastian Broll. Hey, Sebastian, nice to hear from you. He says, any tips to quickly get familiar with a digital audio workstation, a DAW, such as Ableton Cakewalk or Sonar? Yeah. Get it on your device, download it. Most DAWs have a free trial period,
Yep.
so you can download it and give it a go. And I would say the way I would do it, here's the way I do it. I do it in two ways, right? So download the DAW, have some audio at your disposal. So I don't know what that might be. Maybe it's a MP3 of a song, might be a guitar track that you've recorded in the past, might be something you nick off YouTube, might be just have some audio files, right? It doesn't matter whether they're MP3s, WAVs, whatever they are. Just have some audio. Open up your DAW, familiarize yourself with the layout, and pretty much all digital audio workstations, whether it's Logic, Cubase, Pro Tools, whatever it is, Ableton, pretty much always have. When you look at the screen, down the left-hand side will be your tracks, and they will stack on top of one another. So you could have 2 tracks, you could have 200 tracks. And then from left to right, when you hit record or play, you will see a waveform represented in the window of the player. Above all that, you'll have a bunch of stuff which does all kinds of things like play and stop, different views, and then in addition to that, you'll have all the menu items, which are all the editing functions. Get one of your audio files and drag it in to the project. Then hit play and then muck about.
Yep.
And just muck about with that audio you've got in there. You can do stuff like cut it up and shift it about. You can add plugins like reverb, and every DAW that I can think of will have a selection of plugins, things like basic reverbs, EQs, whatever. And you can just add stuff and see how that works.
They've always got tutorials and
Getting started.
And look, and the reality is it's just time spent.
Yeah.
The more time that you spend with it I look at Mick doing audio and I'm just in awe. And I use the same program because Mick has spent 10 times longer on it. It's second nature.
And I am a Neanderthal compared to audio professionals.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm the gnat on Neanderthals knackers.
that is one of the most Australian things I've heard you say. I'm the gnat on a Neanderthal's knackers. Jeez, mate. My foot got crooked too. So yeah, do that. Secondly, most DAWs have an available sample library. So if you use something like, if you're in the Apple world, if you've got GarageBand, for example, and I'm sure Cubase is the same, I'm sure Ableton is, in fact, I know Ableton is the same. Somewhere in there will be a loop library, and you can do the same thing. You can just grab the loops and start putting them in tracks, and that you can build music really quickly doing that. Bit of drums, bit of trombone, whatever whatever you want. And just by doing that and assembling stuff, you'll start to get a feel for how this thing works. Actually, the hardest thing with DAW that used to be was just getting sound in and out of the damn thing.
Yeah.
Just making sure that the input is set to, well, actually, you're not going to input anything at this point. The output is set to your computer speakers, or if you're using a separate audio interface, that. But don't worry about all of that just now. So once you've got used to pulling things in, moving audio around, lining it up, adding plugins, hitting start and stop, then you can start thinking about, well, can I record guitar into this? Because if you don't know the DAW and you start to record guitar into it, you'll probably end up with a smash guitar.
Oh, that's a good point.
Within half an hour. Don't
Yeah.
do that. Just get familiar with it before you try and record anything, is what I would say.
That's very good. Yeah.
And then once you know one, they're all roughly very similar. But for the annoying things that take you half an hour to find.
That's right. There's always these tiny little 4-pixel buttons.
Yeah.
Like, what does that do? It's actually, yeah. Anyway, YouTube is your friend.
Trombone house music, says Combustion Eng. Black Sheep says, is it better to record dry into a DAW and apply effect plugins rather than effects from pedalboard into the DAW? Entirely up to you.
Yep. I like printing all that stuff.
Yeah. If you're going
I
for a
think it sounds
performance, we'd say use the sound that you like.
Yeah.
It's quite the discipline to play dry, as it were.
Yeah.
If you're not used to doing that. Do it both ways, see what you like. Yeah, there's some nice comments coming in as well, so that might help you. Sebastian, Serial Frost, hello. Hi from Baltimore. On the streets of Baltimore. Ever closer to my perfect main rig, I have my Cali Tweed, an AC20, which I guess is a Morgan, a modest but efficient pedal board, and a Balaguer Ambient Espada.
Mm.
That sounds
Italian
exotic,
vodka.
doesn't it? Balaguer Ambient Espada.
I've just bought a Belanger Espada. 360 horsepower. Rotary 4-cylinder.
Are Ernie Ball instrument cables good, or should I upgrade? Perfectly good.
Fine.
Yeah.
They're perfectly fine.
Perfectly good. I wouldn't start worrying too much about... The only thing you need to really know about cables is capacitance. And that is a terrible reduction, but the first thing you need to know about cables is capacitance. So if you've got a 100-foot cable with very high capacitance, it will take... the most noticeable effect will be a significant loss of high end if you don't have any buffers. If you have a really short cable with low capacitance, it will retain lots of high end for you. And it's a good tone shaping option if you don't want to buy a buffer or any new pedals. You can actually do quite a lot with just cables. But for now, if you're starting to think about that kind of stuff, you've gone too far down the rabbit hole. You need to come out of the rabbit hole, go and watch Bill Frisell play live, and understand that none of that shit matters.
It's very good.
I just spent the whole of the gig last night going, everything I care deeply about does not matter.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing that really stuck with me from yesterday is that, we're talking about some pedals and sounds, and then Bill just waved it away. He goes, look, I've done everything. I've played all the pedals and guitar synths, and I've played straight into the amp. He said, nothing matters. He says, the only thing that matters is your imagination. And it was like,
oh dear.
Boy. It was incredible. And to hear him in full flight last night, the funny thing was, he ran the deluxe. He had the volume at that point that we really like. And the clarity, that he had in his sound last night. There wasn't... The sound in the venue was so amazing.
It genuinely one of the best sounding gigs I've ever been to.
Yeah, amazing. And Mike on a our deluxe reverb.
I'll tell you Bill's settings for the deluxe reverb. We'll divulge that.
So hang on. I wonder what the settings are.
Thanks. He's in the vibrato channel of a deluxe reverb 65 reissue. The volume is on 4.5, and anyone who has been to a TPS experience, they will know why. It's the point where that deluxe reverb goes, I'm alive. Bill's like, there it is. Treble on 2. If I have the treble on 2 on a deluxe reverb, it sounds like somebody knitting a scarf and not the needles. It sounds like the scarf.
Yep, okay.
The bass on 4, no reverb, no tremolo, because he gets that from pedals. Now, on those settings, on our deluxe reverb, me and Dan would sound not good. Bill Frisell sounded
Nil pois.
majestic.
He was, yes, le magique.
So there we are. There we are. Hey. And I'll raise you and give you...
I'll give you with the eyes.
Dave Sandman. Say your prayers. He says, I have entered again. Yes. Yes, Dave. He said, I saw Biffy Clyro last Friday night and it was biblical.
Yeah.
Any chance of getting Simon back onto your show again? Last one was epic. Out with a little glove.
Yeah, I mean, it's always joyous when he comes down. Just have to find a reason. I mean, the reason to have him on is to have him on. That's, wonderful. Yeah, if the opportunity presents itself,
of course
absolutely.
We will. Of course
absolutely.
we will.
They're playing, is it Finsbury Park? The massive gig in London. Might be, yeah, something like that. In June or July or something. So that's, yeah. Yeah, but they're like one of my favourite live bands ever. I remember being, I got so into them and just devoured their catalogue. I loved Simon's approach to guitar and songwriting and performance and I've been lucky enough to spend some time with them. And the three of the guys, and actually the Simon, Ben and James, and of course we've got
Mike Venart.
Mike Venart, who
Gambler.
came in, and he's a massive, him and Gambler, a massive part of the Biffy Live thing, and Mike Venart is the new frontman for the Cardiacs.
Yeah.
How amazing.
Well, he told us that when he came in,
Yeah,
didn't he?
yeah,
He told
it's
us
all
that
been
the
announced
discussions
now.
were happening.
And then, of course, Mike and Simon did Empire State Bastards, which was their the super heavy Dave Lombardo on drums on the album. It's
Such a funny story.
It's incredible. Yeah, so they're I just love all those guys and how committed to it they are, and I love the Foutique, the latest album. Simon's he's so consistently great with songs.
I'll tell you what's interesting. Despite the vast stylistic chasm between them, him and Bill Frisell are the same thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Aren't
That's
they?
exactly right.
They are the same thing.
Yep.
They are just artists with no other option than to do what they do.
Yep.
And it is both enviable and scary to watch it happen.
Yep. Oh, it's incredible. A quick story. I was in the studio years ago with Simon, and they were recording an album, and Richard couldn't make it, and asked me to fill in for a couple of days, which was wonderful. Anyway, Simon needed to get this feedback going for the middle of this track. And I went into the studio. It was a studio in Wales, and turned the amps up, and I had Simon Strat, and it was just noise. I couldn't get anything out of it. And then Adam, the producer, goes, "No, that's where we have them set, and don't you worry about it." Simon goes in there, picks up the guitar, and it was like World War III. But it was art. The way that he did it, it was a full-on performance in the room with the amplifiers, and it just blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. And it's like, because I couldn't get anything except squeal, and he goes in there, and it was explosions and helicopters, and it was just outrageous. And Adam's just going, "Yeah, that's what he does." You think you've got in noise, and then he will find the music in it and find the art in it. It's just wild. I'm so in awe of people like that. Yeah. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing, and they're just such good people too. So anyway, there you go. Mon the Biff.
Mon the Biff. G Barge, Greg, how are you, buddy? He
Hey,
says, gents, can you review the topic of purchasing music? If an artist you want to support doesn't sell tangible CDs or vinyl, what's the best we can do? E.g., if we want to support Remy Harris, who was on the show a couple of weeks ago, it can't just be Spotify. What's best? Yeah, well, Spotify is literally a waste of time unless you're doing like billions of views, listens. I don't know. You'd have to go to Remy's website and see what's available there.
A lot of artists will take a PayPal donation, or you can go on, if they have a YouTube channel, you can donate there. I always think the best thing is merch if they have it.
Yeah,
a physical CD.
But if they don't, we should mention Remy's wife Danny, who very sadly died last week. When Remy came on the show, apparently he'd been posting stuff on social media in the months before. Danny had I think a brain cancer or brain tumour, and I'm sorry for not knowing the details, and had an operation and had been very sick for a long time. And I didn't know any of this when Remy came in. And I just thought, wow, man, even with all that going on, you can be that focused and that, generous with your time and your spirit and everything. And so, yeah, love to Remy.
Yeah.
Hopefully the TPS crowd can send a huge collective love to Remy for what he's going through and his whole family at this time. So, yeah, I that might be one reason, G, why he's not super active with doing stuff. But, yeah, check out the website, find out what he's doing and go that way.
Lots of people are saying Bandcamp because the money goes straight to the band or artist. So I didn't know that. Actually, that's really interesting. So, yeah, great.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. And G says, I didn't want to mention Danny, but love to Remy via the TPS gang. Yeah, we should mention it. Giorgio, how are you, buddy? Giorgio came to an experience day. If it's the same Giorgio, I hope it is. He says, hi, D&M, I tried the gator picks Remy Harris had in your interview, and I had great results when using the rounded edge.
Nice.
What about a show on picks or challenge? Play a lick with a shitty pick. Let's hope not literally, right? Yeah, man, it's such a fascinating... I mean, the thing I cannot understand is when people like Paul Gilbert say, I use a medium celluloid pick.
Yeah. Just a medium Fender.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Uncle Larry, same thing. Just a medium pick. And it's like, how is that possible? And it's a whole different way of playing, isn't it? So yes, I love it. I love it. Dan and I are both used to using fairly rigid, anyway, thicker plectrums. And I don't know about you, but I really struggle with it if there's any flex in it at all.
Completely. Yeah. But the irony for me is I love the sound of a thin pick.
Yeah.
Especially on acoustic. But I love the sound of the way it thwacks against the strings. But I can't get any I can't get any Ray Purchase. Ray bloody Purchase.
I promised myself that by the time I grow up, I'll be using tens and a medium pick, and sounding good, because all the best players use that, right? Don't they? As a controversial statement,
No.
some of them do.
Brian Adams, guitar player.
Keith Scott,
Keith Scott,
12s.
12 to 56
Standard
in
tuning.
standard tuning.
on a Strat.
There you go.
What?
And has had that forever, and he has one of the best guitar sounds going.
Yeah. Well,
He's
obviously-
amazing, man.
Obviously, loads of people use different strings.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
most of my favourite players use tens and a medium pick. But yeah, I don't know how you do it. So yes, investigation required, Giorgio. Captain Sexy 90, you are indeed coming to an experience day on the 29th of May. Is it cool if I bring my camera? Love from Norway. It is cool, but what we don't want is you chimping throughout the whole day.
Chimping?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. That's very good.
Because we want you in the room and concentrating on. You're allowed to take pictures, of course you are. Catherine walks around during the day and takes pictures and shares them with people, but we don't want you distracted. So you, by all means, bring it. But
So everyone's in the room.
like a school teacher with a naughty child, I will ask you to put it down if it's distracting.
Put it down.
You and the group. But yeah, of course, bring it by all means. Yeah, because we like everyone to be in the room
Yeah.
and focused on what's going on.
Yep.
It will be a pleasure to meet you.
Yes,
I
mate.
hope
Be great.
you're as sexy as your name suggests.
Not a lot of competition. Just you'll be good.
And Giorgio again, he says, it's me again. I just wanted to say that the experience day last year was incredibly awesome and inspiring. Thank you, Giorgio.
Oh, thank you, mate.
You are truly amazing musicians and humans. Take care and have a great week from Giorgio. Thank you,
Thank you, Giorgio.
That is very kind of you to say, mate. And it was a pleasure meeting you as well. Michael Schneider. How to begin recording at home, e.g. lead and rhythm. Well, following the answer to the door question earlier, that's DAW, not front door. Do all of that. The conventional way is to stick down some sort of rhythm track or something that will keep you in time, a click.
That's very important.
Play some rhythm and then play some lead over the top. Unless you're Remy Harris, you play all the lead guitar first to a click, then you put the rhythm guitar on, then you put the bass on after that. How he did that is beyond my comprehension.
His timing is... I've never really heard anything like that. He's so on it. Just, yeah, really beautiful. But of course, and then he goes and plays everything at the same time as well.
Yeah.
You know.
However, what I will say is that sometimes if you're not familiar with, for example, playing to a click or playing to drums or anything like that, if you're not familiar with that, that's going to cause you more problems than it solves.
Yep.
So it could be as simple as get up your recording machine, arm a track, play some rhythm guitar. When you're bored of that, stop doing that and arm the next track and play some lead over the top.
Yeah.
Don't worry about click tracks. Don't worry about rhythm stuff. Unless you've got a specific song in mind, unless you are experienced with that and you know what to do, don't give yourself zero chance of success by not understanding the technology. Because if you set up a project and you get going and you're trying to set a click track and you're not quite sure how to do it, or you're trying to program drums and you're not quite sure how to do it, you just kill any vibe that you had.
Yeah, completely.
And sometimes the most vibe you can have is just you playing along with something you've just played without the incumbents of tech.
Yep.
I would say that's a good place to start. If indeed you are inexperienced in doing it. If you're experienced in doing it, set the rhythm track up, program the drums, play the bass, put the guitars on top. But
I have loads of fun playing with myself.
yeah,
Yeah.
I find that hard. I still find that hard. I know.
I tell you, no. Nice, well left.
I'm totally,
But the other thing that you can do, if this is all really new to you, there are some really great loopers out there that have got built-in drum machines. And if what you want to do is get used to playing along with a rhythm track and then putting some lead on the top, you can do it in a looper. And it's really fun, and you hear it back, but it gets you used to playing in time with the thing. Because the most important thing when you're starting out with this is that there's the recording, the performance and the recording part, but then there's the analysis part afterwards where you're listening back going, am I in time with it? Does that work? And you might say, oh, that sounds a little bit odd. Let me try it again. And I just think, Boss make a bunch of really cool loopers that are great value.
Usually red.
The red ones, and they've got built-in drum machines that allow you to do that, and it keeps time. It's some really clever things that is, sort of hard to go out of time. So if that's new for you and you want to practice that, the other great thing about a looper is it's like 0 setup time. If you've got your amp, you plug it in and you're away. That's
the issue with any sort of computer recording, because you think about it just ergonomically for a second. You've got guitar, you've got mouse, you've got keyboard, you've got desk, you've got screen, and it's like all that. And then before you know it, you've put a massive ding in your guitar because you've bounced it off the desk. You've taken out 8 things that are on the shelf next to your desk. Honestly, and then you're tripping over the cables and you're like, sod this, I'm giving up.
Have you seen the meme of that guy who's trying to record something with a camera and he's on a piano stool or something next to the piano, and he goes to turn around and he goes, he falls over, and the way he falls is exactly the drum fill to In the Air Tonight.
Oh,
It's so great. It is so great. Oh no, he hurts himself
really
quite badly. It's God, I shouldn't be laughing at someone hurting themselves. It's really funny. He gets all dressed up to do this.
My favourite ones are always the guitar swing ones. And there's 2 things that happen with a guitar swing. One is the guitar comes off the strap and goes flinging, Sorry, the guitar swing is where you have the guitar. I'm not doing it. You fling it around on the strap and it goes around the back of your body and comes back around again. Yngwie Malmsteen does it. This one, the guy just goes like that, and it just goes off. And then another one, which is much, much worse, where I think it's a precision bass, and then literally the bottom horn just hits him on the bottom of the chin, and he's like done. He goes, and he just hits the deck. Quite bad. Anyway, there you go. Hopefully that was helpful, Michael. Tommy Crapvice. He says, and thank you for your generosity, Tommy.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
He says, thank you for everyone's generosity with Super Chats, by the way. He says, Heroes del Volumino. Sounds like Hermanes Guitarras, doesn't it? I like it. Maybe we should have that on a t-shirt. Heroes del Volumino. Currently using a Vox MV50 clean with the new tube into a cab on stage and a cab sim out to front of house. I love it. But
Vox MV50.
That's that little tiny thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I can't get my 2 clone clones dialed in for crunch and lead sounds and volume. Is it easier with a clone clone and a boost? If so, in what order? The issue you've got, Tommy, is in that whole system you don't have very much headroom at all.
Yeah, that's right.
So what's happening is any sort of volume boost or solo boost that you're trying to push through all of that is metered out firstly via the MV50. Doesn't have a huge amount of, it can be loud, but it doesn't have a huge amount of headroom. Then you're going into a cab sim and then front of house. All of that stuff is hugely limiting headroom in the way that we would understand it from a tube amp. So it might be that you're not getting the volume lift off the pedals. If you want the volume lift off the pedals, what we would suggest is turning the MV50 down, just getting it to a point where it's loud enough and the pedals really do boost it, and having the pedals very loud, and that might give you the boost you need. The more gain you've got dialed in to those clones, if indeed you're using them with gain, the more just it's going to squash down and you won't get that. And that is gain staging 101 that we've discussed a million times. Would it be better with a boost than a clone? Maybe. If you want the volume lift for solo, put the boost after the clone. If you want more gain, put the boost before the clone.
You know what's happened, don't you? Guitar swing challenge.
No.
That'd be funny.
Any thoughts, Dan?
No, you're right. It's headroom with that stuff is everything, and I think one of the things about the clone is the nature of that, of the distortion in it. You know, that asymmetrical, hard clipping thing. In those sorts of setup, especially when you've got direct to front of house thing, I think it can be challenging. You know, I find that softer things like where is it? The ODR1 and what's the other one we really like? Not the Southland Drive. The
What for? Sorry, I missed that.
just to get like like a softer clipping overdrive pedal.
Okay.
I find they can work better. But again, we've only got part of the picture. You know, what music you're playing, what guitar you're playing, what's it going to at the front. It's all of those things. As soon as you get into those direct front of house situations, then you've got a whole other chain of stuff that's going on that needs to be dialed in and working correctly. So it's a tricky thing, but now exactly what Mick said, and that headroom is everything with that stuff.
Yeah. Oh God, it's so hard. You do have gain and volume on each pedal.
Yeah.
So, on each of the overdrive pedals, you've got a master volume. So the volume bit should be relatively easy.
The light speed, thank you, BV.
To sort out. Yeah. The common problem is you've got two overdrive pedals. You're running one, you step on the second one, and you think it's going to give you a solo boost and more gain, and actually all that happens is it goes... And that's because it's just too much gain hitting something. So something in that chain needs the gain turning down and the volume turning up. Yeah. It's hard to say, Tommy, because you've got so many moving parts.
Yeah, exactly that.
Knowing which one is at its limit and which one still has headroom is the key to you finding your ideal blend of gain and volume. But if it makes you feel any better, it's the same problem that every guitar player has got everywhere. I want it overdriven enough and loud enough. I want it clean enough and not too loud.
Yep.
Etc.
Yep.
Good luck, mate. Martin Vingren. Hey, Martin. Greetings from Sweden, he says. Hello to Sweden. From Martin Vingren. I've just finished a new pedal board build and it hisses. The power is good and the cables are good. What's the next step in troubleshooting? I love what you guys do.
So if it's hissing, do you have an always on buffer? I.e., do you have boss pedals and whatever in the signal chain? How many of those do you have in line? And is that what you're hearing? Power is hugely important, and that, but also, what's it going into? So let's say you've got a few buffers. Are you going into a really high gain amplifier? Because if that's where the noise floor is, then that might be a challenge. Something getting the buffers in a true bypass loop will help with that. Yeah, it depends. Because again, you need to know more. what amp you're using, how you're setting it. Do you have buffers in line? Because it might be as simple as you've got some noisy buffers and it's not powered correctly.
Yeah. I mean, when you say power is good, it is a vastly variable moving target, good power. Process of elimination is the way you solve it. So hopefully your board, well, maybe not hopefully, but your board may be arranged in such a way that you can start from, well, it doesn't matter which end you start from actually, but start from one end and start with the last pedal if necessary, plug into that. Is it hissing?
Yeah.
I.e. disable everything else. Add the next pedal back in. Is it hissing? Keep going. And that means disconnecting power as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a process of elimination. And at one point, the hiss will come back and you'll know where to start fixing the problem.
Yeah, that's good.
Also, just check that it's not hissing without the pedal board connected, because that can be a thing as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Good luck.
I'm going to be really selfish. 1 second. I just want to have a look. How high do you set your bridge pickup in your 345?
You see, Dan's totally in the game today.
Sorry. Just
it will be lower than you like it.
So Mick played this in today, right? We're filming, and the sound you are getting out of this is just, oh wow, oh okay, that's really cool.
Is it lower or higher than yours?
Much lower. I'm going to give that a go. So,
but what you're right, we've moved on. I want to say thank you to Gerhard Schwartz for sending me this bridge.
Yeah.
He sent me a bridge. I was going to do a video on it, and I still might, but I put it on for the Experience Day on Friday to, well, the short story is, this is a tangent. It had nylon saddles, and the saddles were rattling around terribly, and I don't love them. Tom Bukovac said, just get metal saddles for God's sake, man. And I know I should. And Gerhard has made this Tunematic out of exactly the right stuff, using a different saddle design with some very slippery stuff on it that are nonetheless the right materials, with deeper grooves, especially for Bigsby's.
it's so great.
And we were sat in the other room. I took the old bridge off. Bear in mind it's acoustic, right? No amp plugged in. I took the old bridge off, put the new one on, went like this. And Dan's like, I can hear that already. I'm like, so can I.
It's amazing.
And then plugged it in, and it's just, it's...
Yeah, but that was the thing
all
when
that
you plugged
stuff
it
about
in.
Bigsby's not staying in tune.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this guitar is done. It finally sounds like I knew it could always sound.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I was going to say was, Dan, we also did a show today comparing the 64 hand-wired deluxe reverb to the standard 65 PCB reissue one. It's a really interesting show, actually. Quite surprised us both. My Les Paul sounds like this compared to the two. It's got no treble at all. My Les Paul's got no treble at all compared to Dan's Telly. And I think your problem is you're just used to that bite all the time. So whenever you play any other guitar, you're like, it's not there. So that 345 has got no bite compared to Red, none.
Yeah, but you
And
plugged
yet
in
you
today,
like
it was
the way it sounded.
extraordinary.
But we had to turn the treble right up, didn't we?
Yeah, maybe I'll try it again tomorrow.
I just
with
think
this.
when you do it, you're just could be like, it's too weak. Because you're so used to Red, like...
Yeah, I love this guitar so much, but I've got to find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
You know,
I just think because it doesn't hit you with like a claw hammer in the forehead, you're like, oh, it's lacking.
Yeah, but no, the thing is, like, so with red, especially on that neck pickup, where I can just dial it back a bit, and it's just beautiful and chimey.
Yeah.
And I hear you get that tones out of the 345, and your 345 has got that air. I know it sounds stupid.
Well, yeah,
but it is a thing, right?
And you don't get that with the pickups up high. You don't.
No.
Well, I don't think you do anyway. But maybe it's time for a semi, Dan.
I think so.
That's what she said, etc.
After that, I'll get a new guitar.
Yay! Anyway, good luck, Martin. And process of elimination is your friend.
And I'll just to finish off the tangent. On Experience Day on Friday, John brought in the most amazing guitar from a company called Shabbat. And I was so blown away by this guitar. And I did a little post on my Instagram page that just said, playing this guitar, it's one of the best things I've played in a long time. I've really connected with this guitar. And I thought, because I'd never heard of this company, and, apparently I have. I just, don't be surprised that there's so much stuff that I missed. But anyway, and I just put a post on there that said, what other guitar companies do you think are going under the radar? And man, hundreds of people commented. All of these guitar companies I've never heard of, making incredible instruments. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. Yeah, I don't know, but there's something there. When I posted the video with Johnny Kincaid building my acoustic guitar, and most people had never heard of Johnny, certainly outside of the UK, and were just in awe of his mastery of his craft. And Johnny's not alone. People have dedicated their lives to building these exquisite instruments that allow us to play. And it was really lovely actually to see, because these builders would get tagged and they'd come in and go, oh, that's great, thank you so much. And there's something there. There's something there community-wise that we can do to, even people just posting pictures of
like
their...
feature them on that pedal show, for example.
Well, or no, but even just on our Instagram, people posting pictures of themselves with these guitars and tagging us in it so that we can have a look. I think that'd be really cool. Just to acknowledge that these people who have spent their lives honing this craft, I just think it's remarkable. One thing I love about Johnny, he said, I'm never going to make a lot of money out of this. He said, but I hate weekends. I can't wait. His favourite thing is being in there. He said, and he's surrounded. He said, and he plays a bit, but he's not a player.
Well,
he just loves being surrounded by guitars and the wood and the...
I'll continue the analogy then. Simon Neil, Bill Frisell, Johnny Kincaid are the same thing.
Same thing. That's wonderful.
They are the same thing.
Yeah, that's really wonderful.
They are artists driven by, I don't even want to say the need. They're just
a
driven
higher calling
to do it, to make the art.
Yep. Yeah.
It's, I said, enviable and scary in equal measure.
Yeah, but thank God for him.
Burkoy says, my tech and I ran into the problem of volume pot taper changing drastically after installing treble bleeds on a Les Paul. Any advice for what components we need? Right. I'm going to be direct about this. Get that shit out of there. Right. Watch the show we did with Simon Jarrett on 50s wiring and capacitor values in 4-pot Gibsons, and understand you can get the most beautiful, amazing clean tones doing the opposite, essentially, to a treble bleed.
Yeah.
Treble bleeds are brilliant. Andy Timmins uses one to great effect. He just learned to deal with the volume taper difference, and he's, pardon me, he's done it for so long now that he's completely all over it. So option 1, get used to the taper change. Option 2, get a buffer.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
So if your problem on the Les Paul is when you turn down, or the Strat, or whatever guitar it is, if your problem is when you turn down, it goes too dark and you want to retain the clarity, one way to fix that is to get a clean boost pedal, turn it on when you turn the guitar down, and that will drive the capacitance through to your amp and it will keep you nice and clean. Secondly, make sure that the LP is 50s wired. That will make a big difference too.
50s wiring may be what you're missing.
Yes, make sure it's 50s wiring. But if you don't want to do any of that, number one, make sure it's 50s wired. Number two, do that thing that Simon Jarrett said. Set all your overdrives and gains and amp much louder and brighter than you think. Put a massive tone cap in there, like a 1 microfarad.
Yep.
0.1, should I say. Standard value for a Les Paul will be 0.022 or 0.033. So this would be 0.1, so it's 5 times bigger. Would be the value that you got on a vintage Strat, and most people are like, no way, man, takes away way too much mid-range and stuff. Well, what it does is, if you're running everything quite hot and lovely for when you've got it up there, it just cleans it up. It cleans it up. It is just the most beautiful sound. So investigate that. Yeah, or back to the beginning, learn to deal with the pot taper.
Yeah. Buffers, great suggestion. 50s wiring, really important. Now, also, there are a bunch of different ways to do a treble bleed. And sometimes the resistor is in series with the capacitor. Sometimes it's in parallel. Different value resistance, different value capacitors. You need to try a few. And it might be that you need to change the taper of the pot in there. But it's, Andy found the exact right treble bleed combination for him. You might just need to do a bit of digging. But good luck. Let us know how you get on.
Yeah, Burke saying he really likes the treble bleeds on his tellies and on his Gretsch Master volume, but it's just not working quite right in the Leicester. Yeah. Oh, it's so hard, isn't it?
It is.
Hard. It's so hard. 50s wiring. Definitely start with 50s wiring. Okay. JBiz55 says, hi gents. There's a family friend that passed away recently, a guy called Chris Gobber. Sorry to hear that. Jay, he says they have a GoFundMe to save his house for his kids. He was only 53.
Oh, man.
Okay, that's very sad, Jay. So that comment's there for everyone to see if you want to get involved with that. Morley Robertson. Hey, Morley. He says,
Morley, what a great name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His sister's called Leslie. Come on. That's good, isn't it?
That's great. I'll pay that. That's really good.
Yeah. Sorry, Morley. Legends, I really like the new Vibe on Friday's show. That's the new Jam Retro Vibe Mark IV.
So good.
It sounds very unique, but I can't put my finger on exactly what it is that's different. What are your thoughts on it?
I think, it's... They've really got that flub, 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 flub thing going, the heartbeat. But there are a few that get that.
Yeah, to be fair, the Dry Bell one is excellent.
Amazing. But there's something about what they've had to do with replacing the photocell resistors with some of this Roche compliant. They've worked really, really hard. And I think there is something about the new component, and it might be a lower impedance value, a lower resistance value or whatever, but the signal seems really clear and strong, and it just there is a clarity in it that I just instantly went, that is fantastic. Yeah,
we liked it the minute we turned it on.
It's brilliant.
I mean, to be fair, we are attuned to Jam's analog modulation sounds anyway. We're huge fans of the chorus, the waterfall.
The waterfall's magic.
And the Ripley Fall, which has the phaser and the chorus in one. And of course, the harmonious monk. always love the retro vibe. So I think we are attuned to Jam's take on analog modulation. We like it a great deal. I have to say I was surprised.
Yeah.
Because obviously being an old stick in the mud, if it hasn't got photocells in it, I'm like, what? But I'd use it interchangeably with any of my vibes.
Yeah.
One of the things I find hard with vibe, and the reason I don't have it on the board all the time, is because it's so sensitive to what comes after. And when you, because of the frequency sweep, you can really get into like this in the high end, which sounds is sort of like the Ernie Isley sound on steroids.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people love it, some people really love it, but I can't stand it. And there's a couple of vibes that have come along over the years that I've just stopped using because they just seem so heavily buffered.
Yeah, okay.
That, or at least they're something to do with the input and outputs. I don't know. And that was very nicely controllable in the Retrovibe Mark IV.
That's
I
beautiful.
thought.
Yeah.
Someone might have a good technical explanation of that. I'm sure it's the same as that thing we were talking about with delays earlier, and especially fuzzes.
Yeah, completely.
Where you just like,
because also, Jam Guys builds some of the best fuzzes out there, and they know about the importance of matching impedances. So it might be that what they've done is made sure that the input impedance isn't crazy high and the output impedance isn't crazy low. And sometimes that's what you need. It's but I'm going to have a look at that and see. Got a message here from Jacob Backer.
Oh yeah, I've just got it as well. Jacob.
Yeah, he says, "Hey Dan and Mick, I'll be undergoing heart surgery this time next week, getting a new aortic valve. Wish me luck. I'm hoping for good tones, something similar to EL84 will do." Well played, mate. Listen, we are...
Take a KT88 in there and say, "Can you stick this in, mate?"
Yeah, we can rebuild him. We wish you all the best and speedy recovery, and please let us know how you get on next week. Or have a family member or someone just jump in the chat and send us a message and let us know you're okay and it all went well. And sending you lots of love. And
good one, mate. And
good on you, buddy.
All the best for the convalescence afterwards. You'll be like, way. You'll be Eddie Van Halen with all your new energy and all of that. So good for you, man. And good be well.
Be well.
Adventures in Gearland says, watching on delay, Rosie's barking has induced Bridget the Rockapoo to bolt in the kitchen and respond in kind while checking around the room for furry intruders. I just love the idea that you've got a dog called Bridget.
Brilliant.
I did genuinely know somebody called Bridget who is incredibly short.
Bridget. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like... she must have had such a tough time at school. Because we know. What about a chug show with Rabia or Ola? Says Jason.
Have a chug off.
Jason Sears. I need help telling the difference between flubby bass and good chug. Should I get a high gain amp or goose a rock amp with a pedal? Distortion pedal into a clean amp, preamp into the effects loop?
You know what? It'll be great. Let's get Rabia and Ola in here and have a
chug off.
A chug off. Who can get the heaviest tone? Because what even does that mean? And I would love to hear them have a go at it.
We just have to let them do it because I've got no idea.
No idea, exactly. It would be brilliant.
I don't know how to record it.
Rabia and Ola, you are cordially invited, summoned even, to TPS Towers to come and have a chug off. How awesome would that be?
Yeah. I'll just engineer. I'll do what you tell me.
Yeah, I'm making coffee.
I just have no idea.
Yeah, I'm making coffee. But so I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but Rabia and Ola were with Mick and
Ola England.
Ola England were with Mick and myself in Japan all those years ago when we went and hung out with Boss. And it was just, we had so much fun, and Ola is just what a great guy. And of course, we love Rabia, his family. And it would just be great. It would be great to have a reunion. And then we can get Boss to fly us back out to Japan again. That'd be wicked. Yeah, but let's do that. Right.
Yeah, it would be good. But to your question, here's my advice, not being a heavy player, Jason. You said, should you get a high gain amp or goose a rock amp with a pedal? Either of those, probably not the distortion pedal into a clean amp. I think it's really important to have amp gain going on for the best chug, if I'm honest.
5150 type high gain thing.
Yeah. I mean, my favourite tones from that world were either a 5150 style or a rectifier or a modded Marshall.
Yeah.
Any of those things with the tube screamer in the front. Because what happens is, if you are, chug is not always, but is usually at least drop D, right? Not always, but is usually drop D. That in itself creates a huge amount of extra bass through the whole thing. And if you're using a 412, more bass. What the tube screamer does, and you may know this, and sorry for going over it, is it gives you a very specific kick in the mid-range, and it drops off the bottom end so that it stays tight, right? So when we talk about tight, that's what we're talking about there. And so many of those great high gain rock sounds that you've heard is something like that, 5150 or 6550, whatever the PV amp, or EVH, of course, under its own brand. Dual rectifier, modded Marshall, or a Marshall JCM 900, not quite commonly, juiced with that some sort of boost that rolls it off, and then getting the playing technique right. For those sounds that I've heard, I always like that the best.
Yeah, completely.
And then once you get into, so that leaves me at a certain point in time. Once you get into stuff like Meshuggah, some of the guys that really then ran with it, I don't understand it past that.
Right.
I don't know what I'm listening to at that point.
Yeah.
But for me, there is a point just before that, which is the thing that I love, because it is still classic rock to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Do you know
classic.
what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I know exactly what you mean. Look, if you think of...
I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm saying I don't understand it. I don't know what they're doing.
When I think of Eddie Van Halen's tone, and there is that link back to classic rock, because it was based on, things that we know and understand. It's based on, a Marshall turned up. It's based on a, PAFs in a Strat type thing.
Yeah.
But he just took it to the nth degree. The modern metal thing is, again, just has gone further. And this is one interesting thing about, I remember, seeing Carnival, and Ruby is a massive Carnival fan, and their thing, Drew, one of the guitar players, his thing was a JCM 800 and a 5150 together. And the combination, and when you hear those, the harmonically, they just work so well in a heavy thing. It's really tight and really contained, but then one of the things that they use is like a fuzz factory that just goes wild. But the amps, because of the headroom in the amplifiers, they actually work with it.
Right.
And that you can keep it controlled while having the massive fuzziness, and then go back into the, and keep it all tight.
Yeah.
It's remarkable. And then, I remember when Korn came out, and I thought, well, that's really cool. And then hearing Red, King Crimson's Red, and going, that is heavy. And it depends what you mean by heavy, because it can just be harmonically heavy. You can grab your baritone and stick that into a standard Marshall, and you'll sound as heavy as anyone out there. So,
yeah,
how do you take it? How do you perceive heaviness as being?
Yeah, it's kind of like Cannibal Corpse and all those bands that I had to listen to when I was on at Metal Hammer.
Man, that must have been hard.
Well, I just didn't understand it.
Yeah, right.
Well, to a point. Anyway, Callum1Z3 says, hi guys, super excited to be visiting on Friday, and I was wondering what your thoughts are on Dimebags tones. Callum, you must be coming. I've got 6 students coming in from a friend's school, and they're going to do a little project here on Friday with me.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm assuming that's you, Callum, and I look forward to welcoming you here. What do I think about Dimebag's tones? Very unique.
Yeah.
So he was known for using those solid state amps, wasn't he?
Yes.
I think. And apart from that, I don't understand a huge amount about it, other than it was heavy. I don't want to say before heavy, but it was heavy in a completely new way, and that really vocal mid-range that he got.
Oh, what were they called?
What, his amps?
Yeah, something like...
He used Randalls for a minute.
Yeah, right.
But I think... apparently he did. For early Pantera, he used Randalls.
Right.
Yeah. And then he had something like a Warhead, maybe.
So someone says Dimebag...
Oh, Crank. He had a
Crank, that's
signature
it.
Crank amp. Yeah.
Someone said Dimebag had horrible tones. Let's just say it's crap. It's very interesting because I've heard differing
agree.
opinions on that, but whether it was a crap tone or not, it absolutely worked in the context that was meant to, and it had a real impact. You know what Dimebag was doing, and
Ola's on.
is he really? All right. And has Ola? Have you accepted our challenge?
Hey, but oh no. Sorry, it says at Ola England. My apologies. Oh, it might be Ola. It's time for a Dimebag tone lesson. You'd be the man, buddy.
Let's do it.
You would be the man.
Yeah, Ola, I don't know if you heard that, but we've got a challenge, and you and Arabia come in and have a chug off,
Yeah.
and just see who can get the heaviest.
He
It would be
says,
brilliant.
Someone summoned me. He said. Callum's like, yo, Ola's in the chat. Yeah, Callum, I just want to say, right, don't be expecting anything like death metal on Friday. It's going to be dad blues, deluxe reverbs, strats, 335s, all right? So just calm, all right? Calm. Or maybe you can teach me.
Ola says, I did not hear the challenge. Yeah, so there you go, mate. You and Rabia in here, we're going to have a
chug off.
chug off. I just think that would be wicked.
Yeah. And
Bring in the full rigs. Let's get some double stacks.
Me and Dan will. Dan's going to make tea. I'll engineer. You guys can have at it.
I'm going to jump around like an idiot. I cannot wait. This would be amazing.
Callum says, don't worry, I love a bit of blues. Yeah. There'll also be a lot of boring stuff about cameras, lighting, microphones. Get ready for it, Callum. Be nice to meet you, buddy.
Ola says, chug off. That sounds sexual. I'm in. Yes. Oh, brilliant.
Okay. So we need some plastic sheets and some cooking oil, right?
And a safe word.
Yeah. Moving right along. Johnny T says Matamp. Matamp are based near me, says Johnny T.
Yep.
Any experience of them?
Yeah. They're great.
Yeah.
They have some really unique amplifiers, and there are people that have been using their amplifiers forever and absolutely swear by them. They've got a long history, Matamp, going back, and they are related to there's an orange tie-up there somewhere.
Back in the mists.
Back in them, exactly. Yeah, but they're very cool. They're very, very cool amplifiers. They had an amplifier that had 8 6v6s. A friend of mine had it, and it was like really loud.
Wow.
Rock machine.
Yeah, quite varied over the years. Jeff, who runs Matamp, been there forever. A guy called Dave Green was there for a long time. Hayden, who works there now. And I think the tones are quite varied. They got known, I think, for kind of a unique gain sound, plenty of power.
Yeah.
And in that sense, you can stand them in some ways alongside Orange, which sits, as very different from what we would think of as classic Marshall, Vox and Fender. So definitely their own thing. Handmade in the UK. But it is hard, in the same way that it's hard to sum up Fender, it's hard to sum up Matamp, and it's hard to sum up Origin,
Yeah.
it's hard to sum up. So
the history is so massive.
yeah, I would do some listening, and but in terms of like beautifully well made, traditionally made tube amps from England,
Yeah.
happy days.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Broken Oars podcast, and Johnny, Remy Harris brought one in, the reissue of the series 3000, 2000
Right.
that Peter Green liked.
Oh, yeah.
So Remy brought one in a couple of weeks ago if you want to hear that. Broken Oars podcast says, AJ here. Hello, AJ. Enjoyed the Remy Harris episode. Had to record a Manouche album for BMG once. Wow. Loved it, but definitely a lifetime of work. Great work, TPS. Wow, okay. BMG, big record label. Manouche, jazz Manouche, which is the slightly more acceptable term than gypsy jazz. A lot of people got very, very offended that we called it gypsy jazz. It's what it's called. YouTube didn't like it either, so I changed it to Manouche. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it is.
I've never heard it called anything else. When I think of,
It's people take it as a slur because it's the Romany people, which is Django's heritage.
yeah,
But that's what the music's called. It's what it's always been called.
yeah,
And anyway, whatever. So yes, it is absolutely a lifetime of work.
oh man,
It's a totally different way of playing the guitar, isn't it?
yeah,
As Remy so ably demonstrated.
yeah.
Paul Matulovic.
Hey, Paul.
Howdy gold toes. A type of sock if you don't have them there. I want some gold toes. Don't worry, you don't have to send them, Paul. I'll find some. Two quick things, says Paul Matulovic. Will there ever be another Blue? And when are you all going back to Japan?
All I want to be going back to Japan.
Soon as Boss takes us again.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
I'd love to go back to Japan.
yeah. That was
We
just
had such a great time there.
It was magical. So as soon as we can get there, we would absolutely love to go.
I was fascinated by Japan.
It is amazing. So I've been very fortunate to be there a few times and have played out there. And I could live in Japan.
I'd have to try it.
Yeah.
What amazed me about Japan, right? If you've been to a few places in the world that are, major metropolitan cities, if you get off the airport, get off the plane and come out, they all look the same, right? Big buildings, cars, unfortunately a lot of the same shops. And, it's familiar, right? And then in Tokyo, everything's slightly different. Like the light switches go side to side.
Yeah.
The toilets flush up or something. Everything's like just not the same. Obviously, it's not the same. And it's those little cultural differences that I just so dig about going to new places because it's not the same.
No, yeah, definitely.
And then, almost every convention of social conduct is just different than you're used to.
Yeah.
And ordering food is different. And I don't know, I sound like an idiot saying this, but if you go somewhere that is culturally completely removed from what you know, like, so growing up in England, if I go to Cairo or if I go to, somewhere that is culturally completely different and economically very different, you expect it to be totally different.
Yeah.
But when you go to a modern metropolitan city and it's totally different, it's like, oh, wow, you really notice it.
Yeah.
So, I'll go back to Tokyo.
Yeah. Ola says,
Tomorrow.
I'm going in July to play. I think you mean
We're
we're going
going.
in July to play. Yeah.
I'll play drums. Dan can play bass.
I'll be part of the promotional team. Just run around going, get some of that.
Will there be another Blue? No, there couldn't be another
No.
Blue. That guitar was.
There'll never be another Blue. Oh, that's one of my
a
favourite jazz
song.
tunes.
It's a
There'll never
song.
be another You.
It's a
But
song.
I'll do a version called There'll Never Be Another Blue for our new Christmas album.
Yeah, although I quite often check out what's going on Reverb likeminded.com and the second-hand sections of a few shops. And every now and again I see a maple neck one come up.
Oh,
Like
really?
Sonic blue with a maple.
Ooh.
Single ply guard in a 50s style. And I think, yeah, that would be... but it for me, it's got to be sunburst if it's that. But no, there won't be another blue until one comes along at the right price that I really like the look of. Yeah.
Dendersby, please call the Japan tour the Chug Challenge. Oh, that's going to be fun.
Mike Jabber. You've super chatted, Mike, but there's no question. I'm just making sure that we haven't. Oh yeah, no Q from BV. So, Mike, sorry if we've missed your question somewhere. Happy Monday, says Jeff Martin. Please take one from the chat. All right, we will.
I did have one. Someone was asking me about which saddles were on red. Let me just find that here. It is. Where's it gone? Where's he gone? I think it was pre-dime bag. Was it pre-dime bag?
What was it about your saddles?
About the saddles on red. So yeah, whoever was asking me about saddles on red. When I've always loved bright sounds. Oh really? Yeah. So, and if you can believe it, I wanted my Telecaster to be even brighter. And so I tried a whole bunch of different saddles and I ended up with these. Let's see if I see this.
It was from Carl Edwards.
Carl Edwards. So
Hey, Carl.
these are KTS titanium saddles, but I've just had a look on their website and they don't appear to make them like this anymore. The KTS ones they've got on there now are round, where these ones are beveled to give you the proper intonation. So you can still, I've just seen online, that you can still get these. I don't know if you can get them directly from KTS, but some people might have some old stock of them. I must have gone through a dozen different sets of saddles and brass and steel and my favourite saddles for this guitar were the original ones that came with it, and they were the steel screw, the threaded ones, and they just sound amazing on this guitar. But I would break strings every song. I'd just break strings on them. The radius was too narrow, too thin, the break angle quite sharp, and it would just, snap. But so these, they work brilliantly, and everything's in tune, sort of.
Oh,
There
yeah.
you go.
The test for all intonation is playing Mr. Brightside by the Killers.
It feels in tune first. Yeah. So, because I remember playing that song on this guitar with the original saddles that weren't compensated, and it was just a nightmare. But yeah, it sorts all that out. So yes, KTS titanium saddles is what you'd be after.
There you go. Michael Schneider says, I forgot to slide the super chat button rightward. My question is, how to start recording for home and practice use, interface software, how to play back through the amp. Okay, we've had quite a few questions on this tonight, Michael. I don't know if yours was one of the ones earlier, apologies. So how do you start recording for home and practice use? Should you use an interface, what software, and how to play back through the amp? I wouldn't be playing anything back through your guitar amp. You want to record into the computer, either via an interface or straight into the computer, depending on what kind of computer it is. And then you want to be listening back either through headphones or monitors. You don't really want to play it back through the amplifier. If that's what you want to do, if you want to record and play over it, what Dan said earlier, get a looper. That would be by far the easiest way to do that.
Yeah.
But if you want to record, at the very least, you need guitar, and if we're talking electric guitar, something to amplify that electric guitar, and that could be a guitar amp, could be a direct box like a D-Boss or a I don't know, Pod, Boss GT, anything that can make a direct connection from your effects box straight into your computer. Now, then it starts to get more complicated. If you want to actually record a guitar amp, you need a microphone, you would need a recording interface probably, and that can be anything from like a little IK multimedia thing that's that big, that sits between either a direct guitar signal or a microphone and your computer, or it could be a vastly complex recording interface costing many thousands of pounds.
Yeah.
And the market is so vast that to answer your question is quite difficult. But you need your guitar, something to amplify it, and it needs to get into your computer somehow.
Yeah.
And if you can figure that out, what your budget is, how easy it is, I always think an interface is a good idea, because plugging straight into like whatever the input on your computer is always compromised. So some kind of interface that sits between your amplifier or your effects device and the computer.
Mm-hmm.
And then software, take your pick.
Yeah.
Take your pick and learn it. Take the pick, the one you like the look of the most, or is the most free, or is the one that just appeals to you, and then just learn it, because they're all fundamentally the same. I know people will disagree with me for saying that, but they all do the same thing. So yeah, yeah, I hope that helps. It is such a colossal question; it's quite hard to answer. Oh, David E. He says, "Hi guys, I love your content. This channel is the reason I saw Spinal Tap." Question: can wet dry be achieved at low volumes with headphones? I've got a baby on the way.
Oh, congrats, mate.
Best from David. Yeah, absolutely
Yeah.
it can. Absolutely it can. We often say that sometimes wet dry can be even better at low volume, because one of the things about playing at low volume, quite often you've got a single sound source, like a small speaker from an amp, not very loud. Or let's say you've got something like one of those Yamaha THRs and it's really small. Well, two of those wet dry is like,
Yeah, completely.
Headphones, one of the things about listening in headphones is, depending on where your headphone signal is coming from. So if you're plugging your headphones into a mono amp and you're hearing the same thing in two cans, that can be a smallish kind of sound. If you're employing a computer in your world and you've got, I'm just trying to think what it might be. It might be a digital device that has dual amps.
Mm-hmm.
Might actually be 2 amps that you've got mic'd up. Then you've got the opportunity for 2 separate signals processed in 2 different ways, which is what wet dry is.
Mm.
Headphones is a whole different world, because you've got stereo.
It is. And one thing that is worth, if you can find a way to do it, it's interesting if you've got, instead of having to lay, wet hard right and dry hard left, and that can work. If you imagine the Van Halen thing, just reverb in one ear, dry guitar sound in the other, that can be great. But if the wet signal, you're able to pan it a little bit, so it might be 80% in one speaker and 20% on the dry, that in headphones that can be good. But the modulation thing, wet dry, absolutely works brilliantly, wet dry in headphones.
Yeah. The Van Halen thing is interesting because Rick Beato's explored this at length, as have other people. What Dan just said, the reverbs go in the other channel. I think when they were mixing that, they weren't mixing it for anyone to be listening on headphones.
Yeah, right.
I think they were mixing it for people to be listening on a stereo system. So what you don't get is this absolute separation. That's one issue with headphones, where you get hard pan. And maybe they were, but it's conjecture, right? When you've got stuff that's really hard panned in headphones, it can sound weird.
Right.
But when you're listening on a stereo with two speakers, you're hearing, both of your ears are hearing both things.
Because it's mixed in the air, right?
Yeah. And there's science about this. And,
yeah.
Oh God, what's it called?
Harmonic modulation.
Time. Anyway, I've read loads of articles in Sound on Sound about it, about how stereo works and all that. So, yeah, just to reiterate what Dan said, really, having stuff pan hard right and left in headphones for guitar sounds, unless it is specifically a stereo delay, is quite hard work. So just toe them in.
Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah. Okay, so there was a question from Mike Jabber. Mike, thank you for following up. He says, I was wondering if Mick had any updates on his lower volume journey. Not yet, Mike. Only in terms of inspiration. Watching Bill Frisell last night was crazy to me.
Yep.
Bill doesn't play very loud. When we did the interview with him, he had like our deluxe reverb on 3.5, and that's like our deluxe reverb, because the volume pot's taper is so weird, is borderline inaudible at 3.5, and it doesn't sound very good to my ears. Bill Frisell's playing, and it's like, that is so quiet. I wouldn't know what to do with that.
Yep.
And there he is, sounding like a god.
Honestly, every nuance, every emotion, he was just able to go, have a bit of this. And it just hit like a freaking freight train. It was so beautiful.
And then come the gig, he was a bit louder for the gig. I told you he'd set the amp right at that point where our deluxe reverb comes to life. So he's obviously got good experience of them. And in the ensemble, you've got Bill, a bass player, and a drummer. Right? Trio. The drummer was utterly mind-blowing. And he used a combination of mallets, brushes, hammer rods, and sticks. And he would do something like, he'd be hitting the bell of the ride cymbal with a metal brush. And then he would turn it around and he would scrape the steel bit on the end of the brush where you pull it in and out down the cymbal. That was absolutely audible in every way imaginable through the house. And it complemented exactly what the others were doing. Everything was perfectly audible. Everything was high fidelity. Everything was like mind-blowingly good sounding. And I'm just sat there going, oh, wow, I've got it so wrong about loud guitar. You know, loud guitar is fantastic. We know that it is. And if you want to play Led Zeppelin, it doesn't work quiet. It just doesn't.
Yep, that's right.
And if you want to play Hendrix, don't try and play it quietly. It doesn't work. But there's plenty of other styles of playing and approaches to the guitar that only work quiet.
Yeah, at least doesn't require.
If they were trying to do that with a 100-watt Marshall, it wouldn't work.
No,
right?
It'd be a very different thing.
I know this is all really obvious and you'll be throwing things at the screen, but that's just to say that I've been inspired massively by a few things that I've seen recently, and I think it's informing a way to try. I would say that for me to try and play that the way I play now quietly is not possible. I'm not interested in doing that because it requires volume and it requires interaction of guitar and speaker. So if I'm going to play quietly, I have to change my playing, and I'm totally ready to do that. Which is don't
change too much.
Yeah.
Really like your playing.
That's kind of you to say, but you can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. So,
What do you mean you can't do anymore?
it's very hard to do it in any sort of normal gig now. I don't have the motivation to do it like I
Yeah,
used
but
to.
that's different than can't. It's going to a new chapter where
Yeah.
that you want to
Time
be
to
in
do
this
something
thing.
different.
Absolutely.
We did a
absolutely.
lot. I played a gig in December, and we played some Stevie Ray stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to play this anymore.
Really?
Yeah. Not because I'm not being critical of the music. It's fantastic music, but I don't want to play it anymore
Right.
because A, I can't, and B, I just don't feel it. So, sorry, this has turned into a monologue.
I'll give you some monologue music.
Am I going to try and do what I do at low volume? No, it's not possible. Am I going to try and develop and actually learn how to play the guitar at a volume that is more usable? Yes, I am going to do that.
Beautiful.
Thanks, then.
No worries.
Sounds like an insurance advert. Thanks for the question.
It's what's tricky though, right? Myself included, with everyone out there, loves hearing you do your thing, and it's great. We all go through those things. We go through different stuff, and there may be a time come again. You go, oh, you know what? I've turned up the 2 rocks
it's
today,
fine.
and it was yeah.
That's part of it, isn't it? And it's not being bound. It's not being
Exactly that. Just being free to do what the moment needs.
and just saying, I don't. It's too strong to say I was wrong about that, but one's view of something wasn't very full.
Yeah, completely.
And now with a new perspective, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
too much perspective. Just change. I don't know if the material will be there, or if the opportunity will be there to explore it. But what I'm saying is I want to explore it.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So thanks for the question. Sorry for the monologue.
Oh, Splawn guitars are in. Amazing.
I do talk a lot.
Wow.
Paul Matulovic. Hey, Paul.
Hey, buddy.
How are you? He says, I would hope that you can get your Copper Sound Lomo Prieta sorted because it sounds proper good. I would like to hear it properly, actually.
Yeah. That
Ours,
is fun.
unfortunately, had a fault, so...
Their treble booster that they sent is remarkable. I did a little post, and it was that treble booster into... was another overdrive pedal, and it just sounded so glorious. And there's been a few things that have made me rethink my rig, and that was one of them. Yeah, they do some really good stuff, and they made us nice lights as well.
Yeah, vis-a-vis what Dan just said and that load of gobbledygook I just said, as we got to the end of the interview yesterday, Bill very graciously was explaining about the DL4 and his delay sound and how he likes his overdrive and all that. And he got to a point and he just said, we talk about this stuff too much.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah.
It's like play, make music.
Imagination.
Yeah, if we can. Rich coming from us, isn't it? Bloody hell. Ryan Black is last. Ryan Guntwich Black, I would imagine. You have become Ryan Black. He says, no question, just a little love.
Oh, bless you, mate. Thank
Love
you.
back to you, buddy. He says, take one from the chat. Okay, we will.
Okay.
And this will be the last one tonight. Dan and I are off for some sort of semi-meat feast. Not less so meat feast this evening, and more a rudimentary nourishment experience.
Right. Do you care to expand on that? 'Cause we're here for the meat.
It's broadly Japanese themed, but not in any sort of posh way.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, last question then would be from Jim Brosen.
Jim Brosen.
Jim, you're last in tonight. He says, why would you put limitations on yourself due to something as silly as volume? I'm not sure that... I think it works the other way around. One thing, again, please watch the Bill Frisell interview when it comes out.
Amazing.
All I'll say is that the way he uses pedals is the exact opposite way that the rest of us use pedals in terms of his motivation. I think it's the same with volume. So a certain aesthetic and a certain music style requires a certain approach.
Yep.
AC/DC does not work at low volume.
That's right.
It doesn't.
Yep. The Chats doesn't work at low volume. There's,
Biffy Clyro doesn't work at low volume.
No way.
Don't get me wrong. You can put it on low volume on your stereo and listen to it.
Yep.
But
Russian Circles does not work at low volume. Kevin Shields, Mogwai, these things.
Stevie Ray Vaughan does not work at low volume.
No.
Because it requires... There's an aesthetic, and I don't just mean a visual aesthetic. It's a thing. Similarly, Bill Frisell would not work at 142 dB.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, nothing works at 142 dB, but you know what I mean. And I think it's part of what you do requires a level of volume.
You have to be heard.
It just does.
Yep, you have to be heard.
Yeah.
And that requires something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's appropriate for what music you're playing, and that might be a style of music that already exists, or it might be something that you're doing originally. Part of its aesthetic, part of its connection with humans, part of its light and shade, part of its makeup will be about how loud it is. It's every bit as important as what the tone is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not about limiting yourself, it's doing what's appropriate for the art, I think.
Yeah. And
maybe
it's so beautiful, listen to Bill last night and how the band listened to each other and were doing exactly what was right in the moment.
Ted Eyre says, check out Bill's work with John Zorn if you want Bill Frisell at 142. We know he's done through that. He did the whole guitar synth thing. We know he's done a lot in his career. It wasn't what last night was. Yeah. Anyway, we could talk about this forever. Todd Roy says Metallica doesn't work at low volume. Yeah.
So funny, they have a little backstage when they go on tour. They've got a little stage backstage where they go and warm up, and even that's loud.
Yeah,
it's great.
Jim says no, you can still do it. It might not be as good, but you can still do it. Of course you can. You can do anything. In theory, at least. But I'm past the point. I'm past the point of doing anything half-assed anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not going to live long enough to do anything else half-assed. We're not doing it. So that's my thought.
Nice.
He said, carting like 8 flight cases into Bill Frisell yesterday. Right. Thank you for being with us. This Friday's show is a show on effects pedal order.
Yeah. So I had this idea ages ago when we went to visit Johnny Marr. And he brought out his original pedal board from the Smiths. And we're looking at going, that pedal order is basically back to front of everything that we're taught as this is the normal pedal order. Then, an experienced day or two ago, a young chap comes in and he'd done the work that we asked him to do. Sit down with this stuff and try a whole bunch of stuff out. And he goes, yeah, well, this is what I've come up with. And it sounded amazing and made me think, right, this requires another look at this, because there are some real light bulb moments for me looking at this stuff again.
And it's good. back and forth.
Yep.
This before, that after. Stuff we've talked about before, but some revelations and some ideas to try. So yeah, classic meandering TPS. And then maybe the following week will be might be Bill Frisell the following week, or it might be Deluxe Reverb, or it might be Rothery.
Yeah. Damn.
And then we're going to get busy moving the studio around. So anyway, thanks for being with us,
Yes,
everybody.
thanks, everyone.
Have a great week, whatever you're doing, and big love to everyone out there. We'll see you soon. Play us out, Dan.